So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to tell you the jobs in the film industry that you could do, that you might be great at. Now, if you're already doing a job that you don't like, then that's going to be some of your qualities that you have. And you may want to go in a completely different direction. You don't have to stay with what you've been doing. You know, like I was in sales. I hated that. It actually taught me to do stuff that I didn't feel like doing. So there's a lot of soft skills that you guys have that are going to help you in the film industry. So in the camera department, you could do camera, you could do DP work, director of photography. You could do first AC work, which is pulling focus. And you're basically really running that camera. You're responsible for that camera working. The DP does not troubleshoot. As a first AC, first assistant camera, you're the one that troubleshoots. Second AC, that's assisting the first AC. You're not troubleshooting so much, but you're really helping out. Like you're making sure that the batteries are charged, you're getting the lenses, you're keeping the cart close, you're keeping the cart organized, you know, you're getting the filters, you're slating. You're doing measuring for the follow focus, for the focusing, for the first AC who's pulling the focus. You could do DIT. You say that you're technical. You could do digital image tech, which what you're doing there is you have your own cart. You make a lot of money doing this, by the way. And you're in your own tent. And as stuff is being shot, you're getting a feed from it. And you're looking at the image. You've got probably several monitors in there, as well as computers. And so you're downloading the footage, you're watching it as it's being shot, using the walkie to let the first AC know to stop down or open it up slightly. The DP is coming into the tent and interfacing with you all the time because that's his picture or her picture. So they're in there working with you to make sure that what they're delivering is what they want to deliver. Director. So you could be a director too if you're a technical person, if you love photography, if you're a vision guy or gal. Directors have good communication. They are good at communicating and selling their idea. Actually, a salesperson that would be a great director because you're good at communicating. You practice that wiring in your mind. Now, if you're not that good at communicating and you're a director, just work on that. You can take classes and courses and you can work on it. You can get training one-to-one with somebody and work on how you communicate in your language and your vocabulary. Most people don't do this. Most people go to school, they get out of college, and they're just like, okay, now I'm here to work. Well, I think it's really smart to keep training yourself through your whole life. Because then you keep learning and you have so much more to talk about and you're doing what other people don't usually do, you know, which is continuing your own education, professional education. Also, you could do Steadicam. You know what that is? Everybody knows what that is. Also, you could do camera car. That's those camera cars that drive and get the shot with the big booming swing on there, the boom arm that has a camera on the end. And you get beautiful stuff, but that's an art to work with the camera car. You can drive the camera car, and you can also be involved in setting up the camera car. There's also Techno Crane. That's setting up that big, huge Techno Crane, getting into really tight spots, doing moves that are really pushing that the technology, really pushing that equipment, getting really cool moves, going super high and zooming in. And then there's all the focus that has to happen with that. And getting that shot nice and smooth. There are guys, and they're all guys that I know that do that to date, but they're masters. They're so good at it. So you can do any of these, and all of these can help you with all of them. You know, doing first AC work helps you with Techno Crane. Doing camera car would help you with second AC, then to first AC. You can start DPing right away, but that would be on like news, entertainment, television stuff, documentaries. You know, I know some of you guys, you want to go straight into DP. That's fine. Do it. You'll make like $1,000 to $2,000 a day doing it, just being a DP, shooting your own stuff on the smaller stuff. But then you must also, what you must do if you want to get into feature films, because doing that kind of work will never lead you into feature films. You got to also be working in the camera department on feature films, and then also be shooting your own stuff at the same time. You're going to have a lot more to talk about with that DP if you're shooting your own stuff, making $1,000, $2,000 a day. Actually, shooting your own stuff, you might even be making more than that DP on that feature film. I know, it's crazy. But, and it doesn't feel like it at the time because you're like, oh, big shoot, big DP. You think that they're making so much money. Well, they could be or they could not be too. They're definitely making their union minimum, which is like, $1,200 a day. But you might be doing your own work making $2,000 a day because you also got the camera, you got the lighting stuff. You might even be providing the sound. You might be making over $2,000 a day. So you might be doing behind the scenes on a feature film and making more than the DP. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. How do I know that? That's exactly how it was for me. I was making more than the people that were working in the sound department. I was doing behind the scenes. Now they don't know that. Nobody knows that. But you kind of find out because you get to talk to these people and you find out just little details, Hey, what do they pay on a show like this for equipment? And they'll tell you. Notice how I said that. Now you might want to write that down. That was pretty good. I didn't say, hey, how much are you making? How much do they pay on a show like this for equipment? Oh, that's beautiful. Very indirect way of asking. So this is what you're learning in the A-List program. Indirect way of talking, and then you get your information, and then people take you under their wing, because when they don't feel threatened by you, that's when they take you under their wing. Also being technical, you could do sound. And of course, there's sound mixer. This one I know very well. This is what I do. There's also boom operator. One thing that you should not do when you're on a set, you're doing background or your production assistant go, hey, if you ever need a boom operator, call me. You should not say that to the sound mixer. You know why? Because it shows that you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because being a boom operator is not just holding the boom. That job takes years to get good at. But it's true with all the jobs. They all take years to get really good at, to be a master at. There's a lot involved in this job. I've been working with the same person for 16 years. She's good. And before me, she was working for like 5-6 years with the other busiest sound mixer in the whole LA industry, Roger Danielle, who has since retired. So I was real lucky that I got her. I just want you to know how this kind of thing works. So I was so lucky when I was starting to do commercials to find somebody so good, so calm, so like butter to work with. That's what you want. You want people on your team that are just like butter, like the way they talk, the way they think, the way they do the job, their energy, and plus puts you in a great state on set. Yeah, because that's really important. So you have a team, you're building a team. And then there's also utility, sound utility. That's pretty much a sound department. However, on stuff, there can be multiple sound mixers, and then there'd be multiple boom operators and multiple utilities. There can be multiple. And that's true also in the camera department. There's one position I missed there. It's camera operator. It's operator. Because what happens when there's 3 cameras? Somebody's got to operate every single camera. That means that there's multiple first ACs, and there might be one second AC that's working with all 3 of those cameras, but there's definitely multiple ACs. So the DP doesn't always shoot. So there's the director, right? Then there's the DP that doesn't often shoot. But sometimes the director is the DP, and they shoot and they direct at the same time. Sometimes the director can be a DP, but chooses not to because he's too busy or she's too busy. And then they've got the separate DP. And then the DP sometimes shoots, but sometimes his DP doesn't shoot. And then the camera operators shoot. And the DP just designs the camera positions, the lighting, everything, the whole shebang, the whole visual thing. Okay, so yeah, camera operators. You'll have a different camera operator for every camera. So there are directors. Speaking of directors, there are directors that will do so many takes. You guys probably already seen these guys that just do take after take after take. And then they'll even go in directions that nobody wants them to. Like they think that something's funny and they get hooked on something, they keep doing takes. Meanwhile, we get behind. Meanwhile, we got it like half an hour ago. That's not good for them. They don't realize that. That may be why they're not getting hired again. This is something to watch. This is something to listen. This is how you learn on set. You're going to learn so much just by picking it up. Then there are directors, like the one that Joe worked with this last week. And he's a big director. And he's the man. He's got the energy of the man. That's something to also learn from. Because you can watch how he talks, what he says, the way he communicates with everybody. And even if you're a woman, you can still watch it, learn it, take that energy on, and do it in your way. You're not trying to be him. You do it in your way. But you realize that he's very, he knows what he's doing. He's very intentional in every single thing he's doing. And so you watch that. And you're like, oh yes, I can see. That gives people confidence in you. That makes people hire you. Yes, this is how you work all the time. Right? Okay, so, director. There's writing. There's editing. Obviously, a writing job is a lot more quiet job, you know, you're in a room, you're writing, you're not physical like doing the camera stuff, and you're not on locations as much. You're on location on the shoot days, but then most of the time you're in the writing room or you're working with a team. This is more quieter work, working as a team. As a writer, to get really good at writing is really hard. How many people know this? Writing is really hard. You think you're good, but you're not. Yeah. So you got to be writing every single day. It's got to be something where you cannot help yourself. You must write. Otherwise, you can't end the day. If you are not writing every day, then maybe that's telling you something. Or maybe you need to start writing every day. But just so you know, the writers are writing every day. The writers that are real writers are writing every day. So you're going to have to write every day. And talk to lots of writers. There's writers on every single film set. Editor is working in post or editorial. And again, it's more quiet. You're going to be inside, indoors, in a room, working with footage, getting new footage in, working with effects, solving a lot of problems, working with people to get it right. This is going to be indoors. This is going to be all out on a film set. Some editors do come on a film set, and I've worked with plenty of editors that do come on the film set, but they can't come on the film set as an editor unless they're getting paid, because that would be the only time that they'd be on the film set. They're actually getting paid to be there and edit on the frickin' spot because the director wants it. So the director will have editors that they like, and this could be something you guys can do. You can have conversations with certain directors and say, hey, I could edit on the spot if you're interested in that. That gets you there on set, editing on the spot. That helps with your career a lot, because now you can go into Post House and say, I edit on set, I edit here, I work with all these directors personally, you guys do too, we should know each other. Oh, believe me, they want to know you big time. So do more, do beyond what other people do. Then you'll have a career that you are one of the people that are working all the time. Actors, acting. You benefit from acting by getting inside. You know why? Getting inside means you're working in production when you're not acting. Instead of doing waitressing, call center, and other flexible jobs, spend that time making money on the film set, because then you make relationships with your buyers. Producers and directors are your buyers. They're the ones, and the executives, they're the ones that are deciding who gets that role. And they can put you in. It doesn't happen every time, so don't expect them to like put you in every time, because that's a little needy and you never want to have that energy. They will know you're an actor, and you just be friends with them. And then when they can, they're going to either put you in or they're going to get you in on an audition. And they will also refer you to people too. casting directors, agents. And as an actor, you want to get in that audition room when you're working. Almost all the time, ask if you can work when they are actually casting. And are they casting a lot? All the time. It happens on every single shoot. Every single shoot. There's so much casting going on all the time. So how are you going to meet casting directors? Get involved in casting when you're working with production, and you're going to meet so many casting directors. And you're going to be different than everybody else because you're an actor that also works in production. And you know everybody that hires that casting director. Wardrobe. Yeah, that's another one. Wardrobe. That's for those people. I could never do that job. That's for those people that can see things, that have that ability to put together colors and shapes and their detail, and they love fabric, and they just like to create. Because with wardrobe, also called costume designer, you're getting costumes sewn sometimes. You're making costumes. They want a caveman. You gotta create that. You gotta come up with the loincloth. And then like effects, special effects is gonna be coming up with the hair all over them. I worked with cavemen, and it was loincloth and hair everywhere, that fake hair that they put all over the body. It looked so cool. So those are two different departments. That was actually all departments are involved, but the costume designer was doing the costume, and it was special effects makeup that was doing all the hair. And sometimes makeup can do special effects. Sometimes they don't know how to do it, and they have to have somebody that does know how to do it. So if you do know how to put hair on and toupees and you know how to airbrush and all that stuff, the more you know as a makeup artist, the more jobs you're going to get. And then the more stuff you'll have for your portfolio. So again, the more jobs you're going to get. So creative people that have that vision, got to have that vision. Obviously have to have that vision if you're a DP. But if you don't have the vision, but you just love the technical part of it, now that's me. Then you could do sound. You could do first AC. You could pull focus. You don't have to have the vision. You can still pull focus. You can do second AC. You could do DIT, because again, DIT, you don't have to have the vision, composition vision. Steadicam, you do have to have that vision. You're composing. You're just naturally moving and composing shots, for sure. Camera car, certain positions, if you're working with a camera car, which is like, there's like 3 or 4 guys or gals that are doing that. The one that's doing the shot is going to need the composition vision. Same thing with Technocrane. But then you can help out in these and make $600 a day. And it's a technical job, and you don't need the vision. Camera operator definitely needs to be able to compose. Wardrobe and set design. Oh yeah, set design, which is art department. Production designer is the head of the art department. And then there's art director underneath that. And depending on the shoot, there's big shoots, there's small shoots, you know. Sometimes the production designer is the art director. Sometimes they don't even, I mean, titles don't matter, right? But sometimes they don't have production designer, they just have art director on the call sheet. But that's the head. And then you've got set dresser, and you might have several set dressers. Those are the people that are dressing the set. You're doing what the production designer wants. Production designer is the one that they're responsible. If they don't have a certain prop that they had discussed in pre-production, then that's their ass. Or if something's not working that they discussed was supposed to work as a prop, you know, like for instance, curtains opening and shutting on cue. If they don't work, then that's the production designer sweating, all right? I've seen production designers that created like this robotic car that did certain things. On set, the camera or the battery wasn't working very well enough. It wasn't working, and it wasn't able to do what was sold or what they needed to do. Oh, they were sweating big time. I don't remember what happened, but usually what we have to do is we just work with what we have and hopefully we get the shot. Or they have to do a reshoot. Oh, it's really bad, really, really bad. Really, 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 really bad. You won't work again if they have to do a reshoot. Then there's prop master. And there's greens people. Greens. Well, greens are really important. Every single shoot, there's going to be a ton of greens. That's going to be like branches. That's going to be like just filler stuff that they will stick in there. Flowers, like a whole truck full of greens on shoots pretty much all the time. And they got to put them in there, set them. They got to move them out of there. The shoot I did in Hawaii, there were a lot of greens, guys. And that's because we needed to create this lush environment that was, before that, it was just like a platform. And then we had to turn it into a lush environment. So it required all this green stuff with grasses and greens. And a lot of that stuff, it's just all in pots, but you can't see the pots, was put on top of my cables. Then they wanted to move those cables, and we couldn't move them fast enough, so guess what we had to do? I said, cut them. And they did. Just cut them. It was like, oh, but had to do it. It didn't matter because it was a super wide shot and we weren't using the sound anyway on those. So just stuff. This is all everybody working together. Stunts. There's acting and then there's stunts. Stunt people are actors because you're acting on set, but stunt people might have specialties like driving, bicycle riding, skateboard, anything. Riding horses, all of that. Boxing, fight choreography. Now, who hires stunt people? If you want to get into stunts, should you talk to the producer? Should you talk to the director? Depends on the shoot. When you're on smaller shoots, then you can talk to the producer and director because they might be working on something where they're going to need you. However, for the bigger stuff, it's going to be the stunt coordinator that brings you in. The stunt coordinator brings you in. So whenever there are big shoots, then they have a stunt that needs to be done. They're not looking for stunt people. The producer, the director, production is not looking for stunt people. All they do is they call a stunt coordinator that they've worked with before and they say, this is what we need. And then that person reaches out to their vast list and brings in the people. So you will get the call from that person and then production will hire you. So they'll say, hey, we've got a shoot that we need 100 people on bicycles going down the ramps at the beach in Venice and doing some jumps. Are you available this day? Are you available this day? Here's the rate. Are you available this day? This is all that. This is how simple it is. It's like, hey, somebody that they will probably already know you. Are you available this day? Here's the rate. Okay, great. Hold. They'll tell you to hold. And then as it get closer, and maybe you're holding, but now you get another stunt job for the same day. Now, do you say yes to that one? No, you don't say yes to it because you're holding already for another person on that day, another company on that day. So what you do is you call the people that are calling you. This is for all positions. I'm just using stunts as an example. This will work for you also for camera, any of these jobs. It's all the same. When you're holding for a job and then you get somebody that wants you for the same day, you don't just say, okay, I'll do it. Hey, what are you paying? What are you paying? Okay, I'm taking this one now. You don't know. That's not how you do it. You know why? Because these people count on you. They got you down. You're holding for them. You can't just go, oh, I can't do your job now. That's how you burn your bridges. So what you do is you go to the second people. Hey, can you guys book? Because I'm holding with these other people. You ask them if they can book. If they say yes, then you go back to the original people and you say, hey, I've got a challenge for this date. Can you guys book me? And then they'll say yes or no. If they say no, they know that they're releasing you to do the other job. Now, when somebody books you, that means that whether the job happens or not, you're supposed to get paid. But it doesn't always happen that you get paid. So it could happen. This can happen, you guys. You're on hold for one job. Another person calls you. They say that they're going to book you. The first one releases you till you take the second one. And then that job cancels. Even though they said, hey, we can book you. Now they're supposed to pay you, but sometimes they don't. Now this doesn't happen very much, but it's part of being in the film industry. It's freelance. They're gigs. It's all gigs. People do their best jobs at booking you or holding you, because they don't want you to lose work either. But when the job goes away and somebody pulls the plug or it moves shoot days, that can happen too. Maybe it didn't cancel. But they just shifted their shoot days because a celebrity now is not available those days and they just moved. That happens a lot. You might be like, oh, I turned down work. Ouch, that hurts. But nothing you can do about it. It's freelance. It is the nature of the film industry. But it doesn't happen very much because people do their best to either not book you. They just do their best. It doesn't happen very often. Art direction. Okay, you could do art department. Creative direction, same thing. You could also be a director. Portraiture. Okay, so you could also do storyboards. You could be a storyboard artist. Narrative storytelling, director, also writer. Managing, yeah, being an agent, being a manager. We have Christian, who's from Philadelphia, that did our program, was not in the film industry, and worked as a production assistant through the A-List program, and now he's a Hollywood agent. It's really great. There's also VTR. That's another job, another technical, techie job. Make a lot of money. Man, I know a lot of VTR guys that own several packages, making $1 million a year. It's pretty darn good, you know? You're just doing a technical job over and over and over again. And you're not like a director making $1 million a year, pitching, trying to find the work, lots of pressure, you know? Constantly having to come up with new ideas. If that's you, great. That might be a good fit. But if you just want to make a lot of money and do a technical thing and it's different, but always using the same equipment, that's very similar to sound too. These are very similar. Then you might love this. You might love this. You make a lot of money in sound. I probably make more money than most directors. That's because I work all the time. And I charge a lot for my equipment. But I work all the time. There are directors that they're trying to get this work, you know, they're pitching, they're on these calls, but they don't get the jobs. That's tough. We never think about them. We're always thinking about actors having it tough, right? Well, so do directors. Now, when the directors don't get the job, that means producers that are attached to them don't get to work. So this is all kind of get a factor, understanding. So you kind of get the fear out of you when you realize, hey, this is tough for directors. There's a lot on the line for the director. So you get out of your own head about, hey, will they hire me again? Do they like me? And think about this director and what they're accomplishing and how much this is their baby because they want to work again. It gives you a lot of get a factor. It gives you compassion for people, you know, gives you like knowing how to be of service to them. You know, I work because of how I understand the directors. Then there's also script supervisor. Now this job is for somebody that, I could never do this job. Just the attention, constant focus required in this job, you really can take very few breaks to talk. Like for what I do, I'm setting up, I know what needs to be done, I set it up, and then I can really kind of relax a little bit, although I always have to be on, you know, listening, any changes, anything that could affect my department, anticipating what is needed. However, script supervisor, you're just on it. And even lunchtime, you might be working through lunchtime just to catch up. But they do make $600 a day. It's pretty good. And they sit right next to the director, and a lot of script supervisors work on becoming directors, and some of them do. A lot of DPs work on becoming directors. A lot of special effects. Special effects can lead to directing. Why? Because you know stuff that other people don't know, and then you can sell your concept. Hey, we can shoot that, and then I'll direct it. And they're like, okay, nobody else is pitching that. A lot of writers are directors. Writers are directors. Then there's special effects makeup. When you really get into the big makeup stuff, that's way beyond what any makeup person can do, then you got special effects makeup, that's what they do. They're putting on the stuff, the masks. I know nothing about that, as you can see. But these guys, they know it. One of our people, Andrew, was working as a production assistant on Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, Hunter, something like that. $85 million feature film that they shot in New Orleans. And Andrew got to know the special effect makeup artist who was won Academy Awards, like big time award winning person. And this guy said to Andrew, hey, when you ever come out to LA, you can work with me. Andrew's like, I'm going to take you up on that. That's exactly what he did. When Andrew moved to LA, he started working with this very famous special effects makeup artist. And that's a great way to come to LA. That's why you meet people that come into your area to shoot, and you get to meet these people. And then if you want to move to LA, you can move to where they are, New York City, LA, or London, Vancouver, Toronto. There's hair and there's makeup. You can do both, or you specialize in one or the other. It will help you in the beginning of your career to know both, because you're working on smaller non-union jobs and they don't have the budget to have separate people. But the bigger the show, like all of my stuff, there's always separate people. In fact, then there's hair stylist assistants and there's makeup assistants. So they're, depending on how many people that they're doing, like if there's 10 principal cast and everybody's on camera at the same time, they're going to need several hair people, several makeup people. And there's always the head of that department, which is the hairstylist and the makeup artist. If you're very physical, then acting's great. Stunts is great. Any of these jobs are great. Being very physical, looking good, you know, being in good shape, that helps you with everything, because that's just like you being physically able to do a lot. It just shows that you're mastering your life, your diet, your body, your exercise. And, you know, a lot of times people get in the film industry and then they really start working all the time on set. And now they're like, hey, now I finally have a real reason to start exercising, get stronger, you know, lose some fat that I've been wanting to lose. Because my new identity is this, camera assistant, and my habits are for the old me. So you will just keep getting better and better and better. That is really why I teach this, is for people to become who they really want to be. That's why I teach this. That's really it. Because that's what happened to me, you know. There were times where I was just drinking all the time, overweight, eating just comfort food, just like watching soap operas. That was my past. I wasn't happy. And that's as much as who I knew I was at that time. And then the whole film industry, a better life, traveling the world seemed like a mirage. Because who I was partier, Wisconsin girl, eats lots of cheese, drinks a lot of beer, and goes to nightclubs, tries to find like guys that will love me, unconditional love. I never found anybody good at that point, you know. I found the best person in the world once I became more who I am today. Now I've gotten even better since then, but you know, just going after my career and building that thing is what attracted him. He would not have been attracted to my old self, party person self, you know, but it was because of who I thought I was. Now who I think I am is different, and we're all evolving and growing, and this is our path, this is our job, you know, because we're all like thinking about who we want to be. If only I could be more like that. Well, you can be more like that. You can be exactly that. You just need to work on it. And the film industry is great, as a good reason to work on it. You can do all these things. Now, you don't have to decide now. You can just see as you get on a whole bunch of sets. How many sets? Well, maybe give yourself 6 months. You should be on at least like maybe 60, 70, 80 shoots, 80 sets, 80 different groups of people, of like 50 to 75 people. That's a lot of people, a lot of exposure, a lot of different situations. You'll have night shoots in there. You'll have process trailer in there. You'll have, comedy stuff in there. You'll have special effects stuff in there. You might have some travel jobs in there. You might have some documentaries in there. It might be some TV. It might be some feature films. It might be a couple commercials. It might be maybe a music video. You're going to have all sorts of stuff. So you're going to see it all. And then you'll be able to decide, hey, this is what I want to do. I mean, everybody's connected. Everybody can hook you up. Everybody is interested in their own careers, but when they like you, they're also interested in you and your career. And you have so many opportunities to get to know people. Every shoot, every day, it's a different situation. People have more times. They're more stressed, less stressed, whatever. You know, you always have opportunities to talk. And the great thing is that when you're all working together on set, it's a perfect time to talk, because you're just like, you're working. And then you have a little conversation. Then you're working. So you don't have to it's not like an interview ever. Like I would hate to be an interview. Like I don't like that. I would like lunchtime, little conversations, you get a little warmed up, you're like playful with people, you're fun with people. These are great conversations. It's a great way to get to know people. Nothing serious. You're already there and you got the job. Everybody is moving up. Everybody knows you're moving up. If you're working as production assistant, everybody knows you're moving into camera or writing or acting or sound or whatever. So you can do 2 jobs or even 3 jobs, but eventually you probably will narrow it down to 2 because you're going to really build your connections in 2, probably not 3. Camera and acting, art department and acting. Art department and audio, not too much usually. So acting and writing go with a lot of these jobs. But doing art department and sound, you can do it. But eventually it's going to take over and you're just going to be like, you're just going to end up going in one area. That's just a way that it eventually works. You know what I mean? Because you just keep getting calls in one area and you're building that thing and you're building it for whatever it is you want to do, like TV or commercials or feature films. And people get to know you and it just sweeps you up and you're working all the time. And you got your team of people that keep hiring you and you love them and they love you and you're just all working together for years and years and years. So did you enjoy that? If so, go to breakinprofessionally.com and just sign up. It's free and you will learn a ton. Okay, have a great day, guys. Bye.